decision, it's not necessarily that bad because there is something to be said for at least trying to keep a lot of pressure on the ball, trying to get the 50-50. Your teammate's coming back, so he's going to be in a relatively decent position. So it's not that he's too far out. But I think in this case, not at this point, maybe a little bit before this point, probably could have recognized that he was going to get there first, so this ultimately wasn't going to do anything for you. And so that's why that, could have ended up worse right here. You see, it ends up coming off the side, and that hit right there could have been a lot more powerful back at the net. Really probably should have been a goal. But really I think it comes down to this Random Sox' point of view. So if you look here, at this point he ended up making the wrong decision of turning back to the right for it. So that's why, here he ended up stealing this boost, and at this point he saw what happened. But in this case, he should know that it's going to bounce off. So even if he started to turn this way, I would have, even if you expected that it started to turn this way, I would have probably just gone for that middle boost on the left and then just try to go back. But instead, he did a full turn here, and now he's in a bad spot because it's going to be, all the momentum is going to be on the right, and it's going to go straight to Cool Bros. He's going to slam it backwards. So that's why in this case, the only thing you can do is just try to turn straight to the right and go back as fast as he possibly can. So because he didn't get a very good shot on it, he was able to keep that one safe. But see, in this case, if he had turned back, and at this point, if he had turned his car to the left, gone for that middle boost and gone back, where the hell am I? Okay, so instead of turning this way, if he had turned this way and gone back for it, he would have been in this position right here. And now he could come up for the ball. And in this position, he has a lot of space, so he could do a lot of things with it. You got a lot of opportunities. You can take it back to that corner and dribble it up, or wherever you want. Or what I might even do is just try to turn around on it, come around, turn around on it really quickly, and then just get a power shot and just slam it back towards the other side. Try to start something off of that. But either way, he ended up doing well enough to keep it out. So now it's in the corner, and then this is a situation where you got all the boost, and this hit's not very good, so maybe you could have read it a little better off of there, but, it works out. You end up having to use a lot of boost to kind of recover from that, is why. And then, at this point, just a whiff there, really. Just not, this can be tricky off of the corner and the wall. Making sure you get that hit is pretty important. And then right here, turning back around for it might not have been the best option, because at this point, if you know that you're screwed, and at that point you can kind of see that he's going to go for it, I probably would have just turned back to the left and just given up on it, because, a lot of times if you miss something like that, you just kind of have to move on. But it ended up working out because you got the boost, and the rotation's coming back here. So right there, Random Sox ends up, so this is the other goal, the next goal for the blue team. So right there, Random Sox ends up losing control of it, and at this point, it's up to you. So at this point you end up making a bad turn. So let's first watch this from your partner. So you can see right here, let's back it up just a sec. So you see right there, maybe not the greatest hit because it's a little far out, and the way that he's flipping is going to be kind of see that right there, it's going to be a little awkward recovery. But because that guy's far enough out, he's still got a chance at it. He just has to use more boost. And then right there, I think the idea is solid to try to bounce it off the side, but he was close enough that it ended up going out more. So now he's in a spot where he doesn't have any boost. The ball's a little far out, and now he's lost control of it. So at this point, boom, it's blue team's ball. And now it's going out here, and Cool Brosy has a good opportunity to swing around. So now it's all up to Nullptr here. So that's why in this case, what we need to do really is watch this, and watch right there, recognize that he probably doesn't have control over that anymore. Snoopy's going to hit it. So in this case, instead of going up forward like this, and now you're kind of caught out in a bad spot where you're going to have to follow the ball's momentum, you're going to get beaten to the ball. Instead, you could have done better to recognize this and probably turn to the right, or turn back in some way to defend it, right? Probably would have turned right there and then gone. Go to the fly camera. I probably would have turned right and then try to swing this way and defend from this post. Would have likely been what I would have tried to do, but instead he ended up kind of turning left, which is going more forward, which is really not what you want to do because the ball is really, there's some momentum. It's mostly horizontal, but some going backwards, so that's why. And in this spot, you're just in a bad spot where there's really nothing you can do at that point. It's over with. So now it's tied up, minute 20. So it's anybody's game here. So this is a pretty good kickoff for you because then it ends up going in the back here. And then I think this is pretty good, where you end up recognizing some people would probably consider that that would be a good ball. To like, oh, he might not hit it or something, I might be able to get this rebound. But I think he did a good job of waiting to see what he would do, because he knows he kind of has to like shake it up by popping it up somehow. But then right there is just a bad hit. Probably didn't read it right or something, because in this situation, like the most you can really do is try to pop it towards the middle or something to get some kind of a pinch hit, you know, whatever. Try to get it past, but it's, you know, the guy's in the net, you know there's going to be a guy in the net. It's probably not going to work out all that well. So you can't really expect too much out of it. But, you know, poor hit ends up kind of giving the, you know, losing the control of it anyways. So then off of this hit, the guy hits it off of the wall, and then gets a really nice hit after that to sink it in. So this one is kind of on random sucks, mostly. I mean, after this hit anyways, because at this point, he turns to the right, which is, you know, understandable. But at this point, you know, the momentum's going back. Doesn't have a ton of boost, so he's gonna need to go back, and so that's why he ends up turning ball cam off, looking for the boost. But then knowing he probably can't get that boost and flipping forward, and then by that time it's already too late. So I think probably what I would have done here is turn this off, and you know that it's gonna bounce off, so he could have another opportunity to go for the ball, right? So in this case, probably would have like, okay, if I'm turning ball cam off, I would have probably sort of recognized that I can't go for that left boost probably, I need to go more center. So I think the problem is that he just ended up kind of flipping like this way towards that back boost or something, didn't expect it to be coming that quick. So instead I would have tried to look for the boost lanes. So boost lanes are always really important, which is something really important in threes and definitely in twos too. If you can't go for that left boost, what you want to try to do is, like, in situations like this where, I mean, a lot of situations, but this one's one of them anyways, where you know you can't really go for that boost because it's going to require you to, you know, take too much position out of the way to go out of your way to get that. What you can do is take this boost lane right here. See all these boost pads? If you look at the way the field's set up, they got those boost lanes in the middle. So those are a really good resource to use, which, you know, harkening back to the boost thing that we looked at before, wasn't a whole lot of boost pads being taken out here. So this can be really useful, not just on defense, but on offense too. So you can maintain momentum and maintain your boost speed and everything, while also keeping position. So that's why in this situation, it might have been better to try to use the boost lane, because if he was flipping, either way he needed to flip towards the net more, be more on the line, because that's why he was too far out. So now it's 3-2, the minute left. Gonna need to pull something out. And right here, I like this idea, because in this situation, I think going for a 50 is a good idea, because your partner's going to be rotating back. But if you stop pressure on that, then you give him too much of a chance. So I think in this situation, it's good to, even if you know that you're in this situation, right, you didn't get the 50-50, even if you might not get the 50-50, it's okay to go for a challenge like this, to kind of be, as long as you're not putting yourself like too far out or something, to try to, you know, force him to go off to the side or force him to do something to stop that, so that you don't just stop all pressure and then give him all the space to be able to just do a 1v1 on your teammate. So that's why it worked out pretty well. It's a good thing. The defense, you definitely have to do like a 1-2 type of thing, you know, there's somebody behind, and then there's the other person who goes for the challenge, who's mostly just there. Even if you don't get the 50-50 or whatever, it's okay, because you're putting pressure on them to kind of stop them from making it too dangerous, as I believe I've explained before. So I think right there is another good instance where you're kind of watching what's going on, understanding that you could have gotten that boost on the side, but right here is good to recognize, like, okay, I need to turn back, and then trying to keep control of this is really good. But that hit right there ended up screwing you pretty hard. Don't have any boost because you didn't pick up that side boost. You might have had some more, but this hit right here ended up popping it too far up, and at this point, you know, that guy's going to come back and beat you, so now you're in a rough spot. But managed to get this boost right here in the corner, and then right there is just something, you know, probably, I think probably in this situation you're trying to read his hit. You know, you could have hit it down, but I think in this situation right about here I would have recognized, like, okay, he's not hitting it. Or either way, just try to jump out and, you know, just read it a little bit. If you would jumped out a little bit quicker, you know, just read that just enough, you might have been able to get something out. And then this situation is one that was pretty noteworthy as well, because right here, I think you not only do you not have very much boost, but you're not trusting your teammate in this situation. So in this case, I would definitely be thinking that he still has control of this ball, and so this is a really weird angle too to come at. So I think this is not a good decision, because especially since you end up hitting it out like this, now you don't have a whole lot of boost. That guy, like, if you watch this from his perspective, imagine this cool brother here is like a Grand Champ player. What's he gonna do, right? He's gonna watch this and he says, okay, this is an opportunity, and if this was me, I could have gone up and I would have tried to go for an air roll shot, and I think that's probably what he was trying to do, but he missed it. So this is a situation where, like, I would have just trusted Random Socks to keep going on that, even though he probably didn't have much boost or something. So you ended up really creating an opportunity that you really didn't want it, especially since you only had 25 seconds. So that's one opportunity that probably would have been capitalized on at a higher level too. So then right here is another, like, interesting defense sequence, because you're, like, right underneath the ball, so this kind of stuff is really difficult. But I think this is a really good challenge to recognize the needed challenges. Then right here, you actually, as I was watching this replay, I was finding myself trying to click my stick downwards, because oftentimes in these situations where I'm in the back and the ball is straight up, what I try to do is point my stick downwards so that I can see, you know, point the camera downwards so I can see where everybody is. But in this situation, you did a really good job, I think, of getting a lot of good hits to keep that out. And at this point, you know, there's 10 seconds left. Doing a really good job of, like, you have to be really aggressive and try to make something happen. So that's what ends up happening here, where you end up getting a nice double touch that, I mean, right there, it really wasn't going in until that guy hit it in, but it ended up working out. So it was a nice goal. And then, so here we have overtime. So it ended up unfortunately being short. And then right there is just a hit that's a little too far, like, from the teammate. Like, it was a good hit, but it was powerful enough. It was too powerful, really, because it ends up going out. And at this point, that guy really, it's his ball now. So that's why you turn back, but then he doesn't end up going for it, which I think I probably would have been confused by as well. And then here, I think this is good. This is a good positioning to, like, try to move up here. Potentially, oh, maybe I can get that left boost, but no, he goes for it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for the ball instead. So then right here, I think if you read the bounce a little bit better and jumped up higher, or jumped up sooner, you know, to get more height on it, especially with that demo, could have been a good opportunity to shoot that right there. So those are some that you know, those are some where, you know, you might end up being like, ah, damn it, I could have shot that because you didn't expect the demo, but those are just opportunities you might, you know, want to start looking for more often. And then the unfortunate, sad ending to the game ends up happening because right here, you end up swinging in for the challenge again in front of the goal line. So if you're going to challenge this in front of the goal line, you need to make sure that you're getting your car goal side. And unfortunately, right here, you end up, because he's going to continue on this ball, right? You got to recognize he's going to continue on the ball, which might have been the problem. I don't know, but in this case, you end up hitting it too directly straight on when you need to kind of get to the right of the ball and flip sort of to the left, you know, get like most of your car goal side on the right side of the ball so that it doesn't pinch straight back up into the net like that. So, of course, in this case, where's the action here? Instead, probably trying to rotate, let's see, 50%, like trying to come this way, do it like that. Or, you know, if you're gonna, like, it's not a bad spot to be in, but I just would have made sure that I got to the right of it like this and tried to flip that way, that direction, boom, out that way. So I'm like flipping to the left there, boom. So that's really all it is. I think this replay was pretty good. I think the game overall was a solid game, and you know, there were a lot of key points that I think, Yeah, some I'm sure I missed, but a lot of key points I think I brought up are solid points that you can work on. Generally, just trying to make sure that you're keeping control of the ball, getting the best hits you can, and I think in games like this, there's not a lot of, or at least in this case, I didn't see a whole lot of like really powerful hits and stuff. So trying to work to the next level could be really useful to try to incorporate just hitting it really hard and really high a lot to like, you know, force them to like respect you, force them to push them back. If you have the ability to kind of, instead of rushing, like diving in for a challenge that you didn't need to get, you could have just, instead turning back. So now you have possession of the ball, you have good space, and then you can just turn quickly and hit a really hard shot out towards the blue. Constantly slamming them out like that and being able to keep control of that between your team is really hard for them to deal with. And so I think a lot of times it's a lot of it in high champ to going into grand champ especially is decision making. It's all about knowing when you're going to get beat to the ball, knowing what balls you're good to go for, what I need to turn away from, and then just being able to follow through, you know, getting the proper hits. So hopefully this was helpful and not too long and boring, and I look forward to reviewing some more.